Hello and welcome to Garden, an interactive 2 to 4 player game. As you can see, all of the boards are separated. Originally, this all used to be together, but now it is not. How you play? You go through a number of rounds, going 1, 2, 3, then a council round where you are obligated to use one of 8 cards against an opponent. Then 4, 5, 6, council, 7, 8, 9, council, 10, 11, 12, council, 13, 14, 15, and then council again. Now, as you can see, the boards are separate, so they can sort of be set however you would like. Now you have plenty of cards to choose from. You have daisies, sunflowers, tulips, and roses. Those are your daisies, your sunflowers, your tulips, and your roses. The goal of the game, if you are able to get, say, 4 in a row of the same card, that's double points. So each one is 4, which means rather than it being 16, you get 32. And so forth with the other cards. However, there are Magpie cards, which are these. Now your magpies will stay around for about 2 turns. So if I have a magpie, he will only stay 2 turns. Unless I get a bird bath. If I get a bird bath and I put the bird bath down, he stays around. And then you got your fountains. So I could put a fountain down, and that would mean I can now have up to 2 magpies. Now what the magpies do, they are able to steal opponent's flowers. So if I use a magpie, I will put him back, steal someone's flower, and put it wherever I want. Now they still got a flower there, so I'm going to use my other magpie, because they cost 4, and you start off with 5 points at the start. Seeing as they cost 4, you still have 1. It cost 1 to put any card down, except for these ones. These ones will always cost at least 1 turn. However, if I do go to use this magpie, they can always use their guard dog. Now what the guard dog does is able to scare the magpies and counsel away, but it can only be used once. So per game, it can only be used once, which means he's now gone away. It goes on to a next round. So as it goes along the rounds, you move the token more and more forward. On a council round, you are obligated to use your council cards. So you get downgrade fountain. If someone uses that, that's a fountain gone. That's 1 less fountain. So this is the bird bath. Then you got fountain 1, fountain 2, and fountain 3. Now they all have different point multipliers, so they cost your 1 turn. However, the bird bath gives you 5 points just for the base card. Fountain 1 is 10 for the base card. Fountain 2, that's times 2 your entire board. And then fountain 3, times 3 your entire board. Now, back to the rest of the cards. You have to the pound. So, how to the pound works, it makes it so you are unable to use your guard dog. So if you use it on someone, they can't use their guard dog. Their guard dog's flipped over, until the next council round, which means they're vulnerable till round 7. Then you have place a weed in a player's garden. Basically what this does, this can stop their multipliers. So if someone places a weed, they will sit that card there, which means they are unable to use that slot. However, there is another counter card which helps that one. This is Weed Cutter. So what Weed Cutter does, it allows you to remove 1 weed. Then you got remove any row. So with remove any row, well, it's a bit obvious. You can remove a row or column. The row goes either way. Swap a complete row. So, say this person has this and the bird bath, but they've upgraded it to Fountain 2. If it's upgraded to Fountain 2, then that means times 2 points. And say they have that as well. You're using swap a complete row, which means your whole row is getting swapped. Which means you get all of these lovely cards now. So all these are now yours. Yes, they can guard dog that, which means they can prevent it from happening, so be cautious. Then you have sell player's flower. So how sell player's flower works, you choose what flower gets sold. So say I grab this one, you can't sell people's fountains. That does not work. So say I sell this, tulip. So you get the cost added on to your points next round. So you will start off with 7 points that round instead, which is a bit of a difference, rather than the 5. However, even though you have the 7 points, these will always take your turn, no matter what. And then there's skip any player's turn, so you can choose to skip someone's turn. If someone ends up selling your plant and you've put skip any player's turn down, then they don't get to use those points. Those points have been wasted. So how it all works with the functionality, you all put the cards face down, and the order basically goes, whoever's birthday is closest to the month starts off first. How you generally start off, well, how most people start off, you either go with your bird bath first, or of course a rose and tulip, because they've got the highest point count, 4 and 3. However, if you do buy them, seeing as tulip costs 2 and the rose costs 3, you will put them on the sideline because you cannot place them on your board because you require 1 point to place on the board. But when game time is running and you are on a council round, you've put your cards down and it goes from the person on the left. So say that this person goes first and their birthday is halfway through this month and everyone else is at the end. Okay, they go first. They check their council card to the pound, so the guard dog's flipped over. Then to the left, this person will check. place a weed in player's garden. So now this person gets to choose, well, whoever put that one down, not this person, whoever put that one down gets to choose where it goes. So say it was that person, and they go, oh, I want it right there. Okay, it's right there. But what's this person have? Swap a complete row. Well, that can't work because they don't have a complete row. So what you do, you could just go, let's say they are downgrade fountain actually. So, okay, gone. Fountain 3, no more. They're back down to fountain 2, which means just times 2 on the board. But since they have nothing on the board, except the times 2 fountain, their points are invalid. And seeing as this one has nothing on its board, this card cannot work. But say they had a rose. Remove any row. That rose now goes back into the market. And that is sold. You basically go through numerous rounds, bit by bit. With the instructions, as you can see, game length is around 10 to 25 minutes. The game is called Garden. Yes, literally as Garden. And it's a limit of 2 to 4 players. That's why all the boards are separated, so you can choose how many players you want to play out of them. You get another board, there's more players. The object of the game is to have the most points at the end of 12 rounds. It says 12, however, it is now 15. But you also got to make sure your garden is best looking, because if you have a good looking garden, then that's good. Only one council card can be played during the council round. So you got to keep an eye on that. Be cautious about what card you use, because if you use the wrong card at the wrong time, that's bad luck. There are also no double ups. So if you have a double up, say, what's this one? Downgrade fountain. Say someone's got downgrade fountain, and then they get another downgrade fountain. Only one of those will be used, meaning the other one's invalid, so that was wasted. That's why you got to always be cautious. So that one's been downgraded, but it will not double dose. It'll only downgrade the fountain once. Now, everyone gets the guard dog. So you start off with a guard dog, which can be used as a one-time use for protection from either the council cards or magpie cards. Magpies will only stay for 2 turns, as mentioned prior, unless you have a bird bath or fountains on one of your squares. As I mentioned before, how the magpies to the bird baths and fountains work, it goes 1 magpie, 2 magpie, 3 magpie, 4 magpie. With a row of 4 of the same plants as well, it becomes a ×2 on that row. So, pretty much, if you have 4 row of roses, 4 row of sunflowers, and tulips, they will become ×2. And then, you got fountain 2 as well, which means you times those scores, once they've been added up, by that as well. Now, the magpie can steal a plant, and then you can place it down or hold onto it using a turn. So what that basically means, once you buy a magpie, you can't use it straight away. You have to wait at least 1 turn before using it. However, the next turn you can use it and then buy another magpie and sit him on the sideline with your guard dog. Now, at the start of the game, you also will automatically have all of your council cards. Using a council card does not use a turn. It is completely separate, because it goes 1, 2, 3, council, then 4, 5, 6, as mentioned prior. You upgrade the bird baths to fountains, which also uses an entire turn. Bird baths cost a whole turn to place down. You start off with 5 points to purchase plants and actions, and you restart back to 5 points every new round. Unless you have sell player's flower, then that is different. And as also mentioned prior, if someone skips you when you've sold someone's flower, that's bad luck for you. But the game is generally pretty easy. You go through, once you go to your 15th round, you add up all of your total scores. The fountain does take up a slot. That is the only downside to the fountains. But look at those multipliers. And the fountain could save you points. Because yes, fountain 1 gives you 10 points. And then you look at the points for these. So you got 4, 3, 2. And then 1 point. Now, because of the cost of the daisies being 0 as well, the only issue with them, you can only buy 1 per round. They still cost 1 to put down as well, but they don't cost anything to buy, which is why you can only get 1 daisy per round. Sunflowers, tulips and roses, that doesn't matter. There is also limited stock. So there's about 8, 12, 16 and 20. With these, 4, 4, 4 and 4. And magpies, 12. Guard dogs, 1 each. Council cards, there is 8 council cards per player. But I hope that explains enough, and you can see that, well, you can separate everything. You got your board, there's your board. You get your cards, you put your cards on your board. You don't have to be as close to people as you want to be. You can choose your distance. But just remember, try to get the highest score, and the best way for it will be the tulips and roses.